Ever heard of a supervillain who literally gets his powers from cocaine? Yeah, that's a real thing, and DC actually made him, all the way back in 1988 in New Guardians #2. So why are we talking about this wild character now? And what made DC bring him back years later in the Catwoman comics? Let's dive into the crazy origin of Snowflame, one of the most bizarre villains DC has ever come up with. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And now, let's begin.
Can't even do, ooh, capital O, shit.
What is Snowflame's true identity and origin? Although not every detail about Snowflame's past is known, before the events of the New Guardians, he was running a business. Presumably born in America as Stefan, he developed his superpowers while ingesting cocaine. He was romantically involved with Catwoman, a seductive, cunning burglar. However, they mutually ended their relationship at some point. Using his superpowers, he climbed the ladder to reach the top tier of a major drug ring operated in Colombia. In New Guardians, a team was assigned to stop Snowflame, but he easily defeated them, forcing them to retreat. New Guardians learned from their defeat, studied their opponent's tactics, and realized the importance of teamwork. In the second battle, the team attacked with care and precision, defeating Snowflame. They escaped an attack by his followers. Snowflame was presumed dead. However, years later, he encountered Catwoman on the private island of Isla Nevada. He revealed to her that he had stopped consuming drugs, but he sold them. He was calmer and more rational now, living a luxurious life as a criminal genius. Tensions began simmering between Stefan and Catwoman when a cat creature, a mythical panther with godlike powers, was awakened due to an accident caused by one of Stefan's drug trafficking operations. The incident triggered the creature's violent rampage. Most of his men were killed in the chaos. Without any support, Stefan again succumbed to his addiction, transforming into Snowflame. He faced Catwoman in battle, only to attack her in full flame-powered fury. Catwoman, alias Selina, retaliated by firing an arrow tipped with ibogaine, which was a powerful cocaine antidote. Struck by that arrow, Stefan lost all his powers and became vulnerable. Stripped of his powers, Catwoman left him at the mercy of the rampaging cat entity. Although it was implied that the entity brought justice by punishing him, it later appeared that Snowflame survived and is currently alive. How has Snowflame appeared outside the comics? Outside the DC comic universe, Snowflame can be seen in Harley Quinn Season 4. He's shown as a member of the Legion of Doom, an assembly of supervillains with an aim to defeat the Justice League in this adult animated comedy. In the DC universe, Snowflame is shown working independently as an obscure villain, but here he's shown as a part of a villainous organization, working directly with Lex Luthor. What drives Snowflame's behavior and mindset? The bombastic villain is obsessed with cocaine, which allows him his superpowers, so much so that each of his enemies has to listen to his monologue about his undying love for it. He considers it precious and worships it. Snowflame has a psychotic, violent, and irrational personality that does not abide by reason. Although he is quite a powerful antagonist, it's easy for the New Guardians to defeat him because of his poor judgment and better coordination between them. On the contrary, in his sober form as Stefan, he was cooler, calmer, reasonable, and collected. His ability to converse peacefully with his allies like Selina shows no sign of psychotic violence. This stark difference in his personality can be attributed to his drug use. And yet, as Snowflame, he shows a bit of chivalry when he orders the New Guardians to get a proper burial after assuming them dead. What superpowers does Snowflame gain from cocaine? Unlike many other supervillains who gain their superpowers from exposure to powerful radiation, particles, or chemicals, a bite from an insect or animal, or suffering a great trauma or disaster, Snowflame received his superpowers after snorting his favorite drug, cocaine. When he's sober, his powers are reduced. When he's sufficiently high, he possesses superhuman strength, speed, and durability. He also has control over white flames, which also glow out of his eyes. The amount of cocaine in his body can give one an absolute high with just one touch. We can see it in the second issue of the New Guardians when Floronic Man, a plant-human hybrid, physically touched Snowflame and experienced a drug-induced high after absorbing cocaine, possibly through his plant-based biology. What are Snowflame's major weaknesses? Although the drug is a source of power for Snowflame, it's highly unlikely that it spares him from its negative effects. Yes, his tolerance for cocaine is inhumanly high, but it also makes him delusional and irrational, unlike his sober self. The effect of the dose turns him into a violent, evil man. He becomes volatile and dangerous. He cannot use his powers without a fresh dose, which makes his abilities unpredictable and short-lived. Without the dose of the drug, Snowflame is very vulnerable to pain and injuries. When high under its influence, his overconfidence and fearlessness cloud his judgment, and thus he can be easily manipulated or outsmarted by more strategic opponents. Marvelous verdict. Snowflame is not DC's most feared villain, but he's definitely one of the most unforgettable ones. Despite an initial cold response to his character, DC decided to revive him decades later because of his meme-worthy energy. However, he returned in the Catwoman series with more intense powers than just a joke or a lighthearted element. Fans even placed him at higher ranks than many popular villains in most ridiculous villain powers. We hope you liked this video. Let us know your favorite fact about this DC villain in the comments. You can also suggest topics for our future videos, and we'll make sure to bring them to you in a fun and engaging way. We'll see you in the next one.